around for the full video, guys, because there's a lot to go through in this bill that these cucks decided to, let's just say, they decided to bend us over without giving us the common courtesy of a reach around or any lubricant to go along with it.
In other words, it's a huge shit sandwich and we're all gonna have to take a bite.
Sir, does this mean that Ann Margaret's not coming?
Guys, John Claymore here, also known as Short Timer Prepping, about to be called Gear Issue 33. Guys, we got to talk about this bill that was apparently the conservatives, or the rhinos, are agreeing to. Of course, you're seeing these 10 senators here. And I have to eat a little bit of crow because I did say I was going to withhold judgment on Lindsey Graham, but of course, Lindsey Graham has confirmed what a lot of us have already known for a while and just never wanted to admit, nothing more than just a good old-fashioned actor. Now, it does surprise me to a certain degree that everybody expected it to be Mitch MCConnell, the turtle, Cocaine Mitch, to be the one to kind of screw us over here. But for whatever reason, Mitch, I guess, decided not to do that. Now, something about these rhinos, and we'll be talking about them a little bit later on, is that they basically chose to screw us on the way out the door to retirement. But before we talk about them, let's talk about this actual bill here. So Chris Murphy decided to send out these tweets, of course, and I will be leaving two separate videos, one from Guns and Gadgets and the other from Styx Hexenhammer, because Styx Hexenhammer has a better explanation of one of these topics than I will actually do. I'm going to be very, very vague on that explanation, and we'll get to it here very shortly. But here's the deal. This right here is what they agreed upon. Now, you're probably seeing this and you're thinking to yourself, wow, they actually got red flag laws. Hold on a second. Red flag laws on the national level, on the federal level, are actually unconstitutional and would actually not get by the Supreme Court. They just would not do that. I'm going to explain the red flag law crap that they're actually speaking of, because what it is funding to states to do it, because really only states could pass that stuff. But the silver lining here is that not every single state would pass this. As a matter of fact, only maybe a few would, but don't worry, we'll talk about it a little bit in this video. Like I said, guys, let's go ahead and get to these actual provisions in this bill. Well, first and foremost, the school safety money. Okay, so they did agree to somewhat harden up the schools, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot. That remains to be seen. Number two, the boyfriend loophole. Now, this one right here to me is kind of weird. So the boyfriend loophole, this is basically what it is if you don't really know what it is. Basically what it is that if there's like a restraining order, if you got like a restraining order on like your partner or whatnot, they can't actually have a gun, which, by the way, I'm a little bit murky there. I don't think that you should. I don't think that I'm a little bit murky on that one there, and I'll probably do a separate video on that at a later date. Obviously, you know, if you are a woman and you've got an abusive boyfriend, you obviously put a restraining order in place for a reason. But let's be honest, there are some women out there who actually abuse this. Say, man's been away from her for 3 or 4 years. He's actually reformed his life, and she continues to do it over and over again, no matter how many times he's shown that he's reformed. I mean, hell, he could have gotten married and had kids, but I'm not going to. I may save that there for a later date. What else here? Federal law against straw purchases. We kind of sort of already have a law. You see, when I was working as a gun salesman, you could not approve a straw purchase. So there's already a federal law against that. By the way, it's the left who's being a little bit more visceral than the right is about this. Also, notice about that boyfriend loophole. Most states already have that in place. Okay, so that's two laws right there that really just kind of already exist. Now, here is the one that I left in the actually, I'm going to be leaving in the description box for Styx Hexenhammer to explain. This one right here is the 18 to 21-year-old ban, or 18 to 21-year-olds not being able to buy a weapon, or they're going to have a what looks like juvenile records put in. This right here is a violation of not only their 14th Amendment rights, but their 4th Amendment rights. The 4th Amendment rights, they seem a little bit pretty cut and dry here. I mean, it's basically evasion of privacy. That's just the reason why I'm going to be leaving that Styx Hexenhammer video in the description box, because he does a much better job of explaining the actual 14th Amendment violation and 4th Amendment violation. Either way, though, I don't like the idea of juvenile records being subpoenaed out there. And also something else, too. This right here is also unconstitutional, and more than likely, if picked up by the Supreme Court, would actually be ruled unconstitutional as such. Also, to go along with the 18 to 21-year-olds, basically what it is it's saying that they got to wait 72 hours to get the additional background check, which, by the way, is the juvenile records. Like I said before, it's a violation of the 4th Amendment because it evades their privacy. Also, something else to go on top of this, it's also an evasion of their 14th Amendment, which, by the way, has actually got to do, I think, with the Equal Protection Clause and the actual amendment itself. Like I said, this is the reason why the Styx video is going to be left in the comment section of this video. Verification from an FFL dealer, which, by the way, is being put into this bill, is kind of redundant because anytime you go to buy a gun, you've already got to fill out an FFL form, which, by the way, the gun salesman himself is an FFL, meaning he is a federal firearms licensee. This right here to me just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it just looks to me like something that makes people want to think that they're actually doing something. By the way, like I said before, it's already a freaking law already on the books. You can't just walk into a store and buy a gun. You got to fill out an FFL form and go through an ATF background check. So this one right here kind of seems a little bit meaningless. Okay, so these red flag laws, and by the way, they're trying to put this mental health money stuff up here, which by the way, this is what crisis intervention means, is basically red flag laws. First and foremost, a red flag law would never pass on the federal level. It would not get past the Supreme Court. However, a state like New York or a state like Maryland or a state like California, which I think California already has red flag laws. Somebody correct me in the comment section because I'm just now getting the news myself. The thing is this right here. Red flag laws are mostly passed by the state. And basically what it is it's funding to try to go to states to actually pass it. The thing is this right here. Most states in the country are not going to pass these laws. Most of them are not even going to implement it. As a matter of fact, a lot of these states, most in particular, actually have conservative legislations that will not allow a Democrat governor to abuse this power. And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to link the mental health money to that there. Now, the reason why I don't like red flag laws is because they could very, very well be abused. Let me explain my point. And I got to explain this again. What if let's just say you have a neighbor who disagrees with you politically. Let's say you have a neighbor who's just a giant Karen. You haven't done anything. You've been minding your own business. You've basically just been left alone. You don't want to have, you're just living your life. And they just are being a flat out Karen. They're constantly evading your life. And let's say one day you get smart with them and things go a little bit too far for your taste. They could call the cops and then say, well, look, he's a danger. I think you need to go over and take his guns. Or they could go to the court and actually see. The problem with red flag laws is that they're dangerous in that sense there. It also puts cops' lives at risk too. What if you come across an old guy who does not want to actually give up his weapon? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't be giving up my weapon. I mean, dude, I have a right to own a firearm. It's my Second Amendment right. We all have that. And as I said before in the actual video about gun confiscation, I don't believe it's actually possible, nor will they even attempt to do it because it's an absolute logistical nightmare. So they put laws like this right in place to kind of feed to their base, and then to go on top. And like I said, it just makes people think that they're actually doing something when in reality they're not doing anything that's going to curb crime at all. And like I said before, some of these states have already got red flag laws on the books anyways, and the crime rates are through the roof, a la New York State. I mean, it's absolutely insane. They don't exactly work, and if anything, it could lead to trouble at a later date. Now, I will say this right here, though, and of course, somebody may get mad in the comment section, but let me just go ahead and say this. If you are going to pass a red flag law, and here's the scariness about the potential language. If you're going to pass a red flag law, there needs to be a provision that states if you abuse red flag law, or if you file like say if you like go get a adjudicated order against your next door neighbor, and let's just say that neighbor that you put that actual order on is not a threat, then the person who filed it, they need to be locked up, okay? Because this is a problem with this law. They never put that in place. They're just going after one person. But what if the one person who makes the phone call was in the wrong? I mean, are they going to get punished? This right here is the main issue that I have with red flag laws as a whole. Now, like I said before about the red flag law stuff in this actual bill, it does not look like a national red flag law. And like I said, they could not get a national red flag law passed anyway, or they couldn't get it past the court because it's completely unconstitutional. Only the states can do that. So guys, let me go ahead and make a suggestion to you. If you can actually get out of here. If you are in a blue state, and let's just say that you are a conservative and you are tired of blue states and you want to get out of blue states, then please, by all means, move somewhere where you don't have any actual gun laws. Look, man, there's like 22,000 gun laws on the books on the state level in this country, and most of these right here are in these blue states, which, by the way, have extremely high crime rates, and they already have red flag laws in place anyways, which, by the way, are highly unconstitutional. This thing right here will never pass federally, but they can get you on the state level, and this funding right here is just money just been thrown out there to get people to convince legislation to do that. However, like I said before, though, I would say at least 80% of the state legislations in this country, the states themselves, are not going to pass this crap because they understand the risk behind red flag laws. Talk about these cuck conservatives here just for a second, okay? Lindsey Graham, first and foremost, is nothing more than an actor, okay? Every now and again, Lindsey will surprise you and stand his ground, but here's the deal about Lindsey Graham. He's normally the grandstanding type. I mean, if you ever watch C-SPAN and watch him speak on the floor of the United States Senate, you just may pick that up, whereas when he goes on Fox News, he looks like he's pretty solid and pretty base, but he is not. I wanted to withhold judgment on Lindsey Graham to see what he does. Now, Mitch McConnell, I should not have actually been surprised about because Mitch McConnell's actual voting record is actually quite conservative. Like I said, I'm probably going to get flamed in the comments for taking it from McConnell here, but I was actually somewhat surprised that McConnell actually stood his ground here. John Cornyn has always been a bit of a rhino. Roy Blunt has always been a bit of a rhino. By the way, Tom Tillis, definitely. You're not getting my vote in 2026. I'm going to go out of my way to primary your ass out. Richard Burr is leaving anyway. Basically, these 10 senators, including, are basically either A, in their final term of actual service in the United States Senate, or they're getting out in 2022, except for Mitt Romney, by the way, who we all know is a giant rhino, and he always sides with the left on just about every issue. This right here is the problem that you have with actual senators themselves. You need term limits. These people are basically going in there and they're spending the next 6 years to collect an absolute retirement check. And of course, as I said at the very beginning of this video, they don't care about actually bending us over and sticking one up our asses without any form of lube or even giving us the common goddamn courtesy of a fucking reach around. Here's where I'm going to end the video at, guys. Now look, these 10 cucks, these 10 cuck conservatives, these 10 cucks are all leaving the Senate in the next 2 to 6 years, okay? They're all in their final term. And of course, before they leave, they decide to kick us in the balls before they walk out the door. Lindsey Graham, and by the way, I will take an L on this one right here, and I'm okay with taking an L on this one. I was wanting to wait and see what he would do because I was thinking that maybe him and some of these guys were trying to deke the left into a deal that they of course, would actually blow up because some of these senators and some of these congressmen on the left are saying the deal does not go far enough. Now, of course, them blowing it up is wishful thinking. It's still a possibility. It's one of the reasons why I'm going to continue to stay in touch with this actual story and continue to actually report on it and give you guys my knowledge on this right here to let you guys know what the hell is going on. But here is the deal. This is why term limits are so important and primaries are so important. So guys, I urge you before I end this video, from going forward, and I myself am guilty of this right here. I just now woke up this a few years ago myself. Primaries are extremely freaking important, and yes, we do need term limits. Guys, John Claymore here, short timer prepping, soon to be gear issue 33. If you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, share. I'm going to keep you guys informed before I fully transition back over to the military topics on this story and this issue. Make sure you guys are always there to protect your Second Amendment rights. We've got all kinds of lawyers out there. We've got constant court cases going to the Supreme Court. We've got a constitutional carry case that's coming up in the Supreme Court, which, by the way, will actually fix that right there. And, of course, as you guys always know, stay informed, stay ahead, always be ready to improvise, adapt, and overcome, and I'll see you guys later.
Dude, I got the fucking flashbang props for my Quiet cosplay. These bitches are real as fuck. Look at this shit.